Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiret Nashta Prayasva Bhadresu Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 8, Chapter 19. Text 39. Chapter 19 entitled The Lord Begs Charity from Bali Maharaj. Text 19. Satyam puspa phalam vidyat Atma vrikshasya giyate Vrikshe ajivati tanna syad Anrita moolam atmanaha Satyam puspa phalam vidyat Atma vrikshasya giyate Vrikshe ajivati tanna syad Anritam moolam atmanaha Satyam pusva phalam vidyat Atma vrikshasya giyate Vrikshe ajivati tanna syad Anritam moolam atmanaha. Kindly recite. Satyam pushpa phalam vidyat Atma vrikshasya giyate Vrikshe jivati tanna syad Anritam moolam atmanaha. Satyam pushpa phalam vidyat Anritam moolam atmanaha. Satyam pushpa phalam vidyat Vrikshasya giyate Vrikshe jivati tanna syad Anritam moolam atmanaha. Satyam pushpa phalam vidyat Atma vrikshasya giyate Vrikshe jivati tanna syad Anritam moolam atmanaha. Mataji, word to word meaning. Satyam, the factual truth. Pushpa phalam, the flower and the fruit. Vidyat, one should understand. Atma vrikshasya, of the tree of the body. Giyate, as described in the Vedas. Vrikshe ajivati, if the tree is not living. Tat, that. Pushpa phalam, na, not. Syat, is possible. Anritam, untruth. Moolam, the root. Atmana, of the body. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Translation. The Vedas enjoin that the factual result of the tree of the body is the good fruits and flowers derived from it. But if the bodily tree does not exist, there is no possibility of factual fruits and flowers. Even if the body is based on untruth, there cannot be factual fruits and flowers without the help of the bodily tree. Purport. This sloka explains that in relation to the material body, even the factual truth cannot exist without a touch of untruth. The Mayavadis say, Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. The spirit soul is truth and the external energy is untruth. The Vaishnava philosophers, however, do not agree with the Mayavad philosophy. Even if, for the sake of argument, the material world is accepted as untruth, the living entity entangled in the illusory energy cannot come out of it without the help of the body. Without the help of the body, one cannot follow a system of religion, nor one can speculate on philosophical perfection. Therefore, the flower and fruit, pushpaphalam, have to be obtained as a result of the body. Without the help of the body, that fruit cannot be gained. The Vaishnava philosophy therefore recommends yukta vairagya. It is not that all attention should be diverted for the maintenance of the body, but at the same time, one's bodily maintenance should not be neglected. As long as the body exists, one can thoroughly study the Vedic instructions, and thus, at the end of life, one can achieve perfection. This is explained in Bhagavad Gita 8.6. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tajjante ante kalevaram. Everything is examined at the time of death. Therefore, although the body is temporary, not eternal, one can take from it the best service and make one's life perfect. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakchurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Padkamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamsha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gaurtushe Namah. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrijavanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnevyo Namo Namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So seeking the blessings of all the assembled Vaishnavas, especially His Holiness Bhaktivedanta Maharaj, so you can speak something on this context of Srimad Bhagavatam. So this chapter 19, the whole section which is going on about Bali Maharaj. He is doing a sacrifice, and at that time Vaman Dev, he comes to help demigods. He takes birth as son of Kashyap and Aditi. And he comes in the sacrificial arena of Bali Maharaj. And then Bali Maharaj, seeing such a fulgent dwarf Brahmana, becomes very overwhelmed, very happy. And then he welcomes Vaman Dev, and he offers Vaman Dev as a Brahmana, whatever you want will provide you. And then Vaman Dev first glorifies the whole dynasty of Bali Maharaj, Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu, Prahlad Maharaj, Virochan. And then Vaman Dev in that way continues. And Bali Maharaj, very much pleased, says, please, you have come here, and whatever you want, I can provide you. So at that point, Vaman Dev says that I just want 3 steps of land, 3 paces of land. And Bali Maharaj, he comments, you are a small Brahmana, short-height Brahmana, and your intelligence is also short. I can give you much more, but you just want 3 steps of land, and that's also equal to your 3 steps. Really 2 is small. And all these conversations which goes on, which we are hearing last few days. And then finally, Bali Maharaj promises to give, what Vaman Dev wants. And when Sukracharya sees all this, he understands that this dwarf Brahmana, Vaman Dev, is not any common Brahmana, but is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who has come to favor all the demigods. So then Sukracharya starts telling, he starts chastising Bali Maharaj that you should not do. What a foolish decision you have taken. You are a rascal. You are just going to lose everything. In 2 steps, Vaman Dev is going to cover everything in this universe. And you won't be able to provide him the 3rd step, the place to keep 3rd step. So Sukracharya is trying to convince Bali Maharaj to take the promise back. Yesterday, His Grace Atul Krishna Prabhu was discussing verse number 37. We started today with 39. Verse number 38 doesn't have a purport. We'll just read it out. Atrapi bhavrichair geetam shrinu me asura sattama satyam omiti yat proktam yanneti ahan ritam hitat. Translation. One might argue that since you have already promised, how can you refuse? O best of the demons, just take from me the evidence of the Bhavricha Shruti, which says that a promise is truthful preceded by the word Om and untruthful if not. So like that, Sukracharya is giving all reasons, economical reasons, material reasons, and not only that, even he's quoting from scriptures. Like yesterday, we heard Sukracharya said that one should divide his property in 5 parts, and 1 part should be given for religious purposes, not that you give 100%, just 1/5. However, by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, these Bhaktivedanta purports are so powerful that Prabhupada never gives an opportunity to anyone who reads this to divert the attention, and misquote these verses. And Prabhupada again explains in the purport, and he gives the example of Rup Goswami, that how he divided all his wealth. Because sometimes people may choose these verses and say Bhagavatam says, you say 50%, Bhagavatam says 1/5, that's 20%. So Prabhupada explains, we have to see the context. Yesterday we were hearing from His Grace Atul Krishna Prabhu. We have to see the context in which the verse is quoted. The Sukracharya is explaining all this from scriptures also today, like in the last 38th verse, he says, from the evidence of Bhavricha Sruti. A promise is not truthful if it is not preceded by the word Om. And you have not spoken Om while giving the promise. So it doesn't strong true. So you can take your promise back. And don't surrender don't agree to the demands of 3 steps of Vaman Dev. We see the situation here in the fight, in the battles with the demigods and demons. Bali Maharaj lost his life, and it was Sukracharya who brought back Bali Maharaj to life. He gave him a Jivan Dan. He gave him a new life. So how much indebted Bali Maharaj would be to his Guru, Shukracharya, for giving him this Jivan Dan. And at this situation, when Supreme Personality of Godhead comes himself, and the same Guru who gave Jivan Dan, who is guiding how to do the sacrifice and how he will continue to rule the whole universe, he is guiding how to do sacrifice. Everything he is doing under direction of the Brahmanas and Sukracharya. And when Lord comes, at that time, Bali Maharaj agrees to give 3 steps of land. And when his Guru, his own Guru tells that don't do this and you will lose everything. And we see eventually that Bali Maharaj doesn't agree to the proposal of his teacher, of Shukracharya. We also experience such instances in our life. We want to take some steps. Scriptures give the highest example to show what could be the extreme situation. Like from Bhagavad Gita, we see it for Arjuna. He has to fight the battle of Kurukshetra to establish dharma. And whom he has to fight with? His Guru, Dronacharya, his grandfather, Bhishma Pitama, and all his cousin brothers. When we have to take up Krishna consciousness, our situation is not so extreme. And for Arjuna, it's not only fighting, he has to even kill them. It's to finish off their bodies. It's not like just defeat them and you are done. He has to kill them to establish dharma, and not only establish dharma. Why? Because Krishna wants it. Karishyai vachanam tava. Krishna wants Arjuna to do that. So scripture sets the highest standards when it comes to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And similarly, in the case of Bali Maharaj, to reject someone who has given a second life, brought back to life from death, and then now, and he's guiding throughout how to do, what to do, and how you can achieve. And when Lord comes in front, then and when the directions of Sukracharya is not according to scriptures, because we know Bali Maharaj's grandfather Prahlad is a Mahajana, and Bali Maharaj itself is a great devotee. So when the directions of the Sukracharya is not according to the scriptures, then Bali Maharaj rejects, because it's not in direction of scriptures. So we have to also learn and implement in our life when we take up steps in Krishna consciousness, and we want to increase our surrender, we want to dedicate more. There is always some kind of friction, there is always some kind of rejection. Shri Radha Ras Bihari Ji ki, Shri Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman Ji ki, Shri Gaur Nitai ki, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki. So when we are taking a step in service of the Lord and we want to dedicate, we want to surrender, there may be situations where, and there have been situations where people come and they discourage. For someone who is a student, sometimes the parents, the friends, we see the friends have such a nice job and is earning, and here, I won't be having anything, I'm going to become a full-time. So we don't know what's going to happen then. And so most of the time, except the devotee community, most of the time, everyone else doesn't approves or supports the plan of surrendering to the Lord that we experience. And sometimes we also find, if we give our ears to anyone, we'll find even sometimes some members who are not very missionary, they may tell you, you can be a devotee, just go on in your life, keep on working, and go on morning chant, and that's all okay. You don't have to really fully surrender, and you can just go on doing little bit morning, evening. So we have to see from whom we are taking the guidance. If someone who is himself a missionary and if we are under his guidance, he will also make us missionary. Whatever potency they have, they will transfer it to us. Someone who has got just 10 rupees note, he can't give us 20. Someone who has 100, he can give you everything. So the pure followers of Srila Prabhupada, who are very missionary in their service to the mission of this Krishna consciousness, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, under their guidance, if we are there, we will be also directed in the same way. However, when we face such situations, we see sometimes devotees walking out, giving the devotee community. We see the anti-group, making videos and trying to demotivate people to surrender to the service of the Lord by citing past history and instances. But in spite of that, we have to see the positive examples, the examples of Mahajanas. Like many times people say that, no, but this devotee, he could not continue, so, and this happened to that devotee, so we don't know. But then there are so many positive examples of so many devotees who continued and who are still continuing and from decades and decades. In our temple, we have so many senior brahmacharis staying from last 30 years, 20 years and serving in the ashram and still going on with same enthusiasm. So we should see the positive examples and then go on in our spiritual life. So here in this verse also, Sukracharya is trying to convince Bali Maharaj that your body is important, and to keep the body, even if one has to speak untruth. So although you have given the promise, you deny. And he said, no, I won't give you any more. So that's the instruction coming from the teacher. The instruction coming from the teacher, and Bali Maharaj won't be going to accept that instruction. And in purport, Srila Prabhupada very beautifully explains that how this body, although material, can be used in the service of Krishna. Srila Prabhupada quotes from Sri Rupa Goswami, Anasaktasya Vishayan yatharam upayanjita nirbandhe Krishna sambandhe yukta vairagya muchyate. So everything without attachment, anasaktasya visyan, without asakti to the visaya, to the material things, yatha arham, as suitably, can be upayanjita, engaged, nirbandhe Krishna sambandhe, without attachment, nirbandhe, without attachment, without getting a bondage, nirbandha, without bandhan, for the service of Lord, Krishna sambandha, yuktam vairagya uchyate, that's a yukta vairagya. So Srila Prabhupada explains that how this body, although material and temporary, can be used in the service of the Lord. In fact, the whole institution of ISKCON, we see, we are applying the principles of yukta vairagya every day, using everything in the service of the Lord. Like Srila Prabhupada making such beautiful, gorgeous temples, like ISKCON Juhu, one of the best standard temples, and the marble temple. And Prabhupada would say that for me, I can sit below a tree and chant and read, But if I am below a tree, no one will come. But if we have a beautiful marble palace, then so many people will come to see. So Prabhupada took so much of trouble and put so much of efforts, encouraged his disciples to make such a beautiful temple. So that's a yukta vairagya, using everything in the service of the Lord. One time in Vrindavan, in conversation with Srila Prabhupada, Guru Das Prabhu, he says to Prabhupada, that Suval Maharaj is joking with me that I want to preach, and instead of preaching, I am thinking about steel, cements and bricks. And then Srila Prabhupada responds to that. He says, if that steel, if that cement, if that brick are meant for preaching, then it's not material, Still, cement is not bad, provided it is meant for preaching. That is also spiritual. And Prabhupada quotes this, Nirbandhe Krishna sambandhe yukta vairagya muchyate. And he says, but our problem is that steel, cement, brick, that attracts us more than Krishna. That's why we don't see Krishna when we are engaged in dealing with these things in service of Krishna. So this principle of Yukta Vairagya, which Srila Rupa Goswami has taught us, is such an important concept by which we can engage everything in the service of the Lord. You know, like we see, there's another community where people, the saints, won't take any kind of transportation, any kind of conveyance methods like vehicles or car. They will just walk. You know, they'll go from one place to another place only by walking. They will never go for any car or vehicle. And Prabhupada would say that if you have a flight and that makes you help to the place much faster, where you can go and start preaching, then better use that in the service of the Lord. You know, take a car or take a whatever train or flight, whatever is needed. But what is more important is service of the Lord. Krishna Sambandha, whatever can be used in the service of the Lord, is more important than the other things. So using the same concept of, mentioning the same concept of Yukta Vairagya, Srila Prabhupada says that this body can be used in the service of the Lord. Like Prahlad Maharaj says in Srimad Bhagavatam, Kaurama Rama Charit Pragyo Dharman Bhagavataniha Durlabham Manasa Janma Tadapi Adhruvam Arthadam. This human body is Durlabham Manasa Janma. It's very rare, very rare. Tadapi Adhruvam Arthadam. Adhruvam, it is very temporary. How long one is going to live? Again, Bhagavatam quotes, Prayan alpayasa sabhya kala asmi nuge jana. In Kali Yuga, men are already short-lived. And Prahlad Maharaj is quoting this verse, you know, like so many yugas before, the Satya Yuga, where it's saying that Durlabham Manasa Janma Adhruvam. Using the word Adhruvam, that's not Dhruva, it's not permanent, it's temporary. So compared to those times when Satya Yuga, people would live for much longer life, and today Kali Yuga, where the life expectancy is just 65 years, 70 years, even sometime, most of the time people are dying even at a younger age. So this body is really very temporary, but it is very, very rare. We know the division of 84 lakh species, the human species comes out to be only Chatur Lakhani Manasa, only 4 lakh. So it is so rare, and if we don't use it and don't achieve perfection, then we are losing it. Srila Prabhupada would quote his Guru Maharaj, and he used to say, Srila Bhakti Siddhant Saraswati Thakur would say, the best use of bad bargain. So this body is already a bad bargain, but the best use can be by using it in Krishna Sambandha, in service of the Krishna, in service of the Lord. So it is Adhruvam, but it is Arthadam. It is very, very important. Arthadam means it can be used in the most important thing to achieving the perfection of life, which is not possible in any other form of life. So this body, now we have this opportunity, and by the mercy of the Vaishnavas and the Guru Sishya Parampara, we got this opportunity to know the science of Krishna consciousness, to have the association of devotees. So we should not give it up. You know, like Prabhupada one time quoted, you know, that we have first-class temples, we have first-class deities, we have first-class paintings, we have first-class prasadam, we have first-class art, we have first-class books, we have first-class, lifestyle. Everything is first-class. But still you don't take Krishna consciousness because you are first-class rascals. So in spite of getting such first-class opportunities, and especially in this palatial temple of Shri Radha Ras Bihari Ji, it's an amazing fortune. And to become unfortunate, by thinking to move out or to not take this good opportunity, or by backbiting, if there is a place where you have a stool and gold, then the Niti says, pick up the gold, don't worry about the stool which is there around. And someone just picks up the stool and forgets the gold, or gives up the gold, that's foolishness. So there's such first-class opportunities given to us by the mercy of the Guru Sishya Parampara, by the Acharyas, and we should use it in the service of the Lord. As Lord Krishna says in the Srimad Bhagavatam while instructing to Uddhava, he mentions that this body, Niradeham Adyam Sulabham Sudurlabham Plavam Sukalpam Guru Karnadharam Mayanukolena Nabhasvete Tiram Pumana Bhavdi Nataretsa Atmaha. So Niradeha Adyam Sulabham, this human body which we have got, is sulabham, it's a great opportunity, it's a great labh. Plavam, it's a boat. Sukalpam, very nicely formed boat. And Guru Karnadharam, and the Guru is the captain of this boat. See, we just analyze this body. What is the destination of this body? If we don't, ultimately this body is going to be either turned into ashes, somebody will burn it, or it is going to become a stool, maybe some animal will eat it up and evacuate as the stool, or it will turn into earth, it just decompose in the earth. So that's the ultimate destination of the body. It is not going to be with us always. That is the ultimate thing. It's going to be either turn into ashes, a stool, or earth. So such is the situation of our body. But Krishna mentions that sulabham, sudurlabham. It is a big gain to have sulabham, big gain, but it is sudurlabham, it is very, very rare. And to have such body which is plavam, a nice boat, sukalpam, very nicely made, Guru Karnadharam. Guru is the one who is the captain of the boat. Maya anukulena nabhasvaitetiram. And I am the one who is guiding the favorable breezes in the terms, the way we are getting Vedic instructions, the scriptures given by Lord himself. And the human being who don't use such opportunity for crossing the ocean of material world, bhavavdim na taret, one who doesn't crosses the material world, atmaha, he is the killer of the self. So when we have this body, we engage in sense gratification, and we go on doing so many varieties of things which has nothing to do with Krishna consciousness. We have to also learn this art of dovetailing, because we may do something wrong, something else. Like sometimes people say, sometimes some devotee are preaching, like we have this experience, and we tell students, you surrender more and you can serve more and more, chant 16 rounds. And the answer is, no, let me not do just little bit and study more or earn more, and when I have lot of money, then I will give it in Krishna service. So I want to do that way. Let me collect first more and more, and when I have lot of money, everything I am going to give to Krishna only. But we see from the example of Srila Prabhupada, he did not encourage the disciples to go that way. He said, Krishna will send everything. And when he met George Harrison, he just encouraged him. He did not tell anyone to become George Harrison, but when he met George Harrison, he encouraged him to sing about Krishna and to donate for Krishna. When Prabhupada met Ambrish Prabhu, Albert Ford, he did not encourage his disciple, go and become like George Harrison or go and become like Ford. He just, when he met them, he encouraged them and engaged them in the service of the Lord. They were like Ambrish Prabhu, the richest person at that time and everything. And Prabhupada made him beggar. Told him to take the whole project of TOBP, contribute everything. And now he has given all his money and he's going around asking, begging. Going to all temples all around world, going to people of business, using his influence and telling them, now all of you also contribute for this. So that's the power of an acharya. We meet someone and we take some donation and we are done. And next festival, next time again donation. And Prabhupada would take his, his body, his property, everything donated along with him. And donated for whole life. So many Prabhupada disciples, so rich, working at such bigger profile. And Prabhupada took everything, their wealth, everything in the service of the Lord. So that's a powerful acharya's power. So Guru Karnadharam, like Bhagavatam again mentions, as quoted in Srimad Bhagavatam, Kama Sinendra Pritir Labha Jiveta Yavata. The sense gratification has to be done only as much as needed for the body to continue. Keep the soul and body alive together. Not for uninterrupted sense enjoyment. Lava Jiveta Yavata, just to keep the life. Just to keep life. So we need, like Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Yukta Hara Viharasya Yukta Chestasya Karmasu. As much as needed to keep the body and soul together. And then go on in our spiritual life. Endeavor for that. Endeavor for spiritual life. So we have to understand and accept this, that this body is such a great opportunity which has been given by the Lord to us, and such favorable environment, the guidance of the Guru, the guidance of the instructions, Vedic instructions, and we don't use it, we are the most unfortunate persons. And further in the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains, as long as body exists, one can thoroughly study the Vedic instructions, and thus at the end of the life one can achieve perfections. So we have this body, we can go on reading scriptures. Prabhupada always encouraged his followers to read every day at least 1 hour books. We read in Chaitanya Charitamrita about a Brahmana who could not read Bhagavad Gita, but he was reading Bhagavad Gita because that was the instruction of his Guru. So he was just trying to read Bhagavad Gita, and just because he was following the instruction of his Guru, the Brahmana was crying tears while just going through Gita. And other Brahmanas were joking. And when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw that, he was very touched, and he told that Brahmana that you have really understood the purpose of Gita. So, as Prabhupada mentions, that we have to go on reading Vedic scriptures. And if we do that throughout our life, then that is the perfection. So when we have this body, and this body has to be engaged in the service of the Lord, then how do we do that? So we accept a spiritual master, and we work under his direction. But when we accept a spiritual master, then we have to understand this also, that this body is no more our property now. This body is the property of the spiritual master. And then we don't have right over this body. So at one point we understand, okay, this is a very rare opportunity to have a human form. We got this body, and by our good fortune and some good fortune or some Vaishnava's mercy, we got this opportunity to practice Krishna consciousness. And now when we have this good fortune and opportunity to practice Krishna consciousness, then we have to always contemplate that now this body is no more my body. It's a body of my spiritual master, and I have to act under his guidance. If we start thinking that now this is my body after taking Diksha, then this is again a big offense. Because the body of a disciple is the property of the spiritual master. As we read this section from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita of Sanatana Goswami visiting Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Jagannath Puri. So we'll read few verses from Chaitanya Charitamrita, where it is very much exemplified that how this body is the property of the spiritual master and not to be used for any other purpose. And we cannot have a separate desire that what and how I want to use this body. As the Guru wants, it has to be used in that particular way. So when Sanatana Goswami was coming to Jagannath Puri, he was crossing the Jharkhand forest, and he developed some kind of infection because of which fluid was oozing out throughout his body. There was it was moistened, and all infection was there. So Sanatana Goswami, as mentioned, Antalila says, Nirveda haila pathe kare na vichar, nicha jati deha mora atyanta asar. In a disappointment, Sanatana Goswami considered, I am of low caste and my body is useless for devotional service. So Sanatana Goswami, because he was working as Prime Minister for Nawab Hussain Shah, born in a Saraswat Brahmin family and now in a Muslim community, he was saying, I am so low and my body is useless for devotional service. Tate jadi ei deha bhala sthane diye, dukham santi haya ara sadagati paye. Therefore, he thought, if I sacrifice this body in a good place, my unhappiness will be mitigated and I shall attain an exalted destination. So Sanatana Goswami started thinking, this body is so useless, I'll sacrifice this body. Jagannatha ratha yatra hai be bahira, tanra ratha chakaya chadimoi sarira. So he thought, I am going to Jagannath Puri to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I am so low, I cannot go and take darshan of Jagannath Ji. I cannot go near Sinhdwar because of my low caste. So during the Rath Yatra festival, when Lord Jagannath will come out, I shall give up the body under the wheel of the car. So he made up his mind, that this body I will die below the wheel of the car. Mahaprabhura age are dekhi Jagannatha, ratha dehe chadimu ei parama pursartha. And his thought, the param pursartha, the highest perfection, the param pursartha of life will be After seeing Lord Jagannath, I shall give up my body under the wheel of the car in the presence of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This will be the highest benediction of my life. So that's what Sanatana Goswami, of course, he is exemplifying for all of us to learn that how this body is property of the Guru. Not we cannot have a separate desire, what I want, Like even if someone wants to get initiated devotee, wants to get married, wants to have children, wants to have anything, he has to take permission of the Guru to do anything in his life. Because that's the body's property of Guru. Sanatana, so when later on Sanatana Goswami comes and meets Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Mahaprabhu welcomes him, Mahaprabhu forcibly embraces Sanatana Goswami, although his body was full of all diseases. And Sanatana Goswami feels very bad, that my body is so full of infection, and Mahaprabhu is embracing, I cannot keep this body. I feel so pain that seeing Mahaprabhu embracing this dirty body. So after some time passed, and one day Mahaprabhu came to Sanatana Goswami and Haridas Thakur, and Mahaprabhu started saying, Sanatana deha tyage Krishna jadi paye, koti deha chhane ke tabe chhadi te paraye. My dear Sanatan, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, if I could attain Krishna by committing suicide, I would certainly give up millions of bodies without a moment's hesitation. Deha tyaga Krishna na pai paiye bhajane, Krishna praptera upaye kona nahi bhakti vine. Just by giving up our body, we cannot get Krishna. We can only get Krishna by devotional service. There is no other means. Deha tyagi jada saba tamo dharma, tamo rajo dharme krishnera na paiye marma. Acts such as suicide are influenced by modes of ignorance and passion, and one cannot understand who Krishna is. Further, Mahaprabhu says, Bhakti vina Krishna kabu na paye promodaya, nahi premodaya, prema vina Krishna prapti anya hai tenaya. Unless one discharges devotional service, one cannot awaken one's dormant love for Krishna. And there is no means of attaining him other than awakening that dormant love. Then Mahaprabhu chastises Sanatana Goswami. Kubuddhi chhadiya kara sravana kirtana, achirata paibe tabe krishnera charana. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Sanatana Goswami, give up all your nonsensical desires, for they are unfavorable for getting shelter at the lotus feet of Krishna. Engage yourself in chanting and hearing. Then you will soon achieve the shelter of Krishna without a doubt. Dinera adhika daya kare bhagavana, kulina pandita dhanira bada abhimana. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is always favorable to the humble and meek. But aristocrats, learned scholars, and the wealthy are always proud of their positions. So Sanatana Goswami humbly argued that, no, my Lord, this such body which is full of infections, what is the use of this body for you? Nicha adhama pamar mui pamar swabhava, mora jiyale tomara kibaha belabha. What is your benefit? I am low born, indeed I am the lowest. I am condemned, for I have all the characteristics of a sinful man. If you keep me alive, what will your profit? So that's how Sanatana Goswami humbly asks. He's seeing himself so low. Sometimes we feel like, I'm so qualified. Why I'm not getting these things? I should be doing this. I'm more qualified. Sanatana Goswami, such a acharya, says, I'm so low. I'm not qualified. I'm most low. There's no need for me to remain alive. What is your profit? And Mahaprabhu says, Prabhu rakahe tumara deha mora nija dhana, tubu more karai cha atma samarpana. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, your body is my property. You have already surrendered to me, therefore you have no longer any claim to your body. So you cannot claim to this body, it's surrendered. Just like we also, when surrendered to Guru, no more claim over this body. Parera dravya tumi kena chai vinashite, dharma adharma vichara kibena para karite. Why should you want to destroy another's property? Can't you consider what is right and wrong? This property, this body is property of now Mahaprabhu. How can you think of destroying it? To mara sarira mora pradhana sadhana, ei sarire sadhimu ami bahu prayojana. And Mahaprabhu says to Sanatana Goswami, your body is my principal instrument for executing many necessary functions. By your body, I shall carry out many, many tasks. And we know Sanatana Goswami excavates all the places in Vrindavan. Eta saba karma ami ei dehe karimu, tata chadite chahatumi kemena sahimu. Mahaprabhu said, I have to do all this work through your body, but you want to give it up? How can I tolerate this? And Mahaprabhu tells Haridas, Haridasa kahe Prabhu, suna Haridas, parera dravya imo chahena karite vinas. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then said to Haridas Thakur, my dear Haridas, please hear me. This gentleman wants to destroy another's property. Says, telling about Sanatana Goswami, this gentleman wants to destroy another's property. Parera sthapya drava kehena khaye vilay, nisedha ihare ena kare anyay. One who is entrusted with another's property does not distribute it or use it for one's own purpose. Therefore, tell him not to do such unlawful thing. So Mahaprabhu showed his full right over the body of Sanatana Goswami. And we see here a perfect example for all of us, that after surrendering this body and taking Diksha in front of the fire, Guru, Vaishnavas and deities, body is no more our property. We cannot have any separate desire, but we have to always check with our Guru, and under his guidance, we have to go on in our spiritual life. And this body will be such a powerful instrument, just like Chaitanya Chaitamit mentions, like Mahaprabhu is again explaining to Sanatana Goswami, and he says, yesterday we were hearing from in a program with Atul Krishna in the evening, where he was quoting, Sakala sadhana sreshta ei pancha anga, Krishna prema janmai ei panchena alpa sanga, where Mahaprabhu told Sanatana Goswami that out of so many processes, activities in devotional service, the 5 things which is most important, Sakala sadhan, Sreshta, Yei Pancha Anga, the 5 most powerful things. And if one does that, Alpa Sanga, if one does that Alpa, little bit, he will get Krishna Prem. Sadhu Sanga Nam Kirtan Bhagavata Sravan, Mathurava Sri Murtera Sradhaya Sevana. And these 5 things we can do with this body. Sadhu Sangha, association of devotees. So we have this body, we can associate with devotees. Nam Kirtan, chanting of the holy names, every day, all the time is possible with our tongue. Bhagavata Sravan, hearing the philosophy of Srimad Bhagavatam from the lips of pure devotees of the Lord. And Mathura Vas, staying in the temples made by Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada said these temples are not different from Vrindavan. Sri Murtera Sradhya Sevana, and serving the deities. In various ways, we all are engaged in service of the deities. So, if this body is not there, we won't be able to do this Pancha Anga, the Sreshta, the best thing in devotional activity. So, all this we can do under the guidance of a spiritual master when we have this body. And Prabhupada concludes his purport saying that everything is examined at the time of death. So although the body is temporary, not eternal, when one can take best out of it, best service, one can take from it the best service and makes one life perfect. So by following this Pancha Anga, under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master, in the society, in this institution of ISKCON, and so many Vaishnavas, we can perfect our life, and whatever then we will be able to remember Krishna. Death is the examination, and if we remember Krishna, then we will go to his planet. As mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita, Antakale cha mameva smaran mukta kalevaram. Who remembers me while giving up this body, what happens? He comes to my place. And the same thing Varahadev says in Varaha Puran, Varaha Swami. There are 3 Charam Shlokas in our scriptures. And one of the Charam Shlokas Varaha Swami mentions to Sri Devi, where he says that any person throughout his life who has served me, And while giving up his body, I also remember him. The exact verse goes like this. Sthite man se suswaste sarire. One whose mind is very sthit. Suswaste sarire. One whose body is very strong and stout. Sati yo nara. Dhatu samme sthite smarta viswarupa chamamajam. And who always worships me when his body is fully intact. Tatastam miryamana nam. When he is going to give up his body, miryamana nam. And how his body is at that time? Kastha pasa nam sannibham. His body just like a log of wood lying or like a stone which cannot do any response. We hear prayers of King Kurla Sekar, everything is choked up, you can't chant the name of the Lord, body is fully paining. Aham ismarami mad bhaktam nayamamim paramam gatim. At that time, that devotee who has dedicated his life in this way, throughout, not that when I become old and I have nothing to do in my life, then I will serve Krishna. When the body is strong and stout, aham ismarami mad bhaktam, I remember my devotee, nayamim paramam gatim, and I personally take to my planet. So such assurance is given by the Lord to all of us, and the mercy of Vaishnava and Guru and Sadhu is there in our life. We should take this opportunity and perfect our life. Hare Krishna. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki. Any questions or conclude? Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki.